Speaking of Happy presents Frankly Speaking. With co-hosts Eli Rigatuso, founder and queer transmasculine two-spirit of the Menominee Nation, and the lovely Feleasha Ellicott, model, public speaker, makeup fanatic, and outspoken transgender advocate. Together, we are Frankly Speaking.
Yes, we
Ooh.
are.
Yes, that we are. We are Frankly Speaking. Welcome to this week's episode of Frankly Speaking.
Yes, and you're looking lovely this evening.
Thank you. I did the
always.
absolute most. It was an accident.
How do you accidentally do the absolute most?
You start doing a makeup look and then you just go a little heavier and a little heavier, and then you have to compensate to make sure that it comes out right. So yeah, I ended up doing this much.
Well, I think you look phenomenal.
Thank you.
I mean, and you just brought it. You're making me feel like a slob over here.
Oh no. I'm in this moment where I have been dealing with some dysphoria, and I realize that I have the power within myself to get into it and bring it together, and just getting up and doing it and making myself look like the beautiful badass that I am is enough.
Yes.
And so, I had to do it. I had to
Yeah,
give it to
I
them.
get it. I get it. And I'm happy that you did, because you look amazing. And you're right. Dysphoria is something of a biatch. We could talk about that all night long. But tonight is a night for fun and tea, capital T. Tonight we have Erin Sundberg, also known as Feleasha Savage. And is she ever? She has been on stage for over 20 years, works as an admin analyst by day. I can see it now. And at night, an entertainer. That's right. Off stage, she loves zoos, museums, traveling, and anything to do with history. And she also loves helping others build and develop their onstage personas. Come May, which is right around the corner, she is going to be opening up her home for some craft nights and helping to support those up and coming folks who want to get into the entertainment industry here in the Omaha area and Lincoln area with to build camaraderie, to help them learn their best practices, and just to have an all-around great time. She also manages the Omaha Drag Brunch at Barrel and Vine the second Sunday of every month, which it's amazing. I went to the first one here in Omaha and I was blown away. It was a blast. She also hosts a monthly all trans show in Lincoln, Nebraska at Das House, the third Friday of every month. Showtime is at 10 p.m. sharp. I don't know. I'm going to have questions for Feleasha on that sharp. I've been to a number of drag shows. They never start on time. Anyway, maybe she can correct me on that. The cast is made up of individuals that fall under the trans umbrella. Feleasha is very passionate about supporting her local community. Her favorite motto is you have to show support in order to get support. So please be sure to go out and support the entertainers in our area. And if you're watching tonight, you can actually talk to Miss Savage yourself.
Hi.
Hey, boo.
How are you?
Doing wonderful. I'm trying to put something on Instagram so that we can have it out there. And I keep forgetting words and how they work.
Is someone typing?
No, I
you
keep hearing it cracking though.
Yeah. It sounds like someone's typing. It's not me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like,
Let me see.
Like chord? Like, what is it? But now it stopped.
Is it me? Am I the...
Oh
Weird.
my, that is so weird. What is that? Is someone sneaking in on it? That is so
It's Russia. It's Russia.
It's something.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, you know what? We're gonna have to work around it, I guess. That is so weird though. I have no idea what's happening here.
Erin, do you have a case on your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have headphones in?
What?
Do you have headphones in?
I can. Let me go see if I can grab them.
Okay.
I think the sound is vibrating the case, and that's what we're hearing.
Oh. That's
You
interesting.
know, problem solver.
I guess. We'll give you a round of applause for that. Yeah, let me see if I'm going to mute her and see if it's still happening. It is not. Oh my
Some
God.
feedback.
Look at those crowns back there. Holy
Mhm.
guacamole. I got to make that bigger. We got to see that like in full screen. What the heck? How
Miss
come
Ma'am gets into it.
I see that? Wowza. There we go. We'll see if we can make it a little bit bigger.
Oh,
That is
yes.
serious. Jeweled crowns and all the things. Wow.
I'm into the gag of it all.
We muted you because we found out you are the source of the of the noise. Oh, I unmuted you, but it's not working. What is going on now?
Erin, if you go into settings and then audio, just make sure that your mic and speakers is saying your headphones. Oh no,
You're
I don't know.
you're
How
a
this works.
genius.
Hey,
You're 2 for 2,
she's a smart
Yeah.
girl.
Brains and
right?
beauty, right?
Mhm. I'm here for it.
Yes, we are here for it. So tell us, Feleasha, tell us, what is the scoop on T Nite? Why did you create it? And what is your hope with T Nite? Because you've been doing it now for months, right?
Yeah, we started in January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my hope was just that I really wanted to spotlight those that are under the trans umbrella, really to it's almost like a I don't want to say like a rite of passage, but just a place that where you belong and you're not going to get the judgment of what you sometimes can face within the LGBTQ community. And so that was really my reasoning for creating is to give us a place that is ours, for us to celebrate who we are.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
and what's the response been?
It's been wonderful. Our crowds are typically right around 100 people. So that's been fantastic. We've been we try a lot of different avenues. We go back old school with promotion. And so we've reached out to colleges. We go to coffee shops, put up flyers. Things like, back in like 2000 when I started drag, like that's where we're going back to promote, to bring new blood back into the bars again.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's been a lot of fun. It's been really receptive. I started next month. Well, it'll be this next show in May, where I'm going to have a fresh face in the show. So what that means is just for a newer entertainer that may not have the same opportunities that us established ones have, that I'll always make sure that I have somebody that is newer to the scene, that is still within the umbrella, and have them come perform with us as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm friends with a whole lot of performers in the area.
Yeah.
Known a lot of performers in the area, and there are good things that you hear about, and there's not so good things that you hear about.
Right.
So,
Right.
I appreciate that you are making efforts to create a space for folks who are transgender, non-binary, gender non-conforming, or two-spirit, those that don't necessarily that don't fall under the other umbrella, because they've got all sorts of space where they can do drag.
Right.
And not that that's a bad thing. I mean, more power to them. I do feel like there's like been a huge surge in drag recently. Can you tell me
brunches?
Yeah, right.
When I came back from Michigan and I hit and I hit Nebraska and I was telling people about, the drag that I was doing there, I was like, look, we had brunches, we had just random nights where it was nothing but like bachelorettes and stuff like that. And we got paid the house down.
Yeah.
Get out of the clubs, start going to these
Yep.
avenues and reach your customers, your fans themselves instead of, going to a bar. And look, I appreciate everything that the bars have done for my drag career and, being a space for me to perform. There have been some amazing promoters and bar owners and managers, show managers, and all of that other stuff. But at the same time, there have been a lot of places where you show up for a gig, you get $15 for doing the gig, and nobody in the audience is encouraged to tip. And
Well, and not only that, I think
hundreds to do drag.
yeah. And I think on top of that too, that it's sometimes you find, like I was talking about earlier, you find in LGBTQ bars that it's more judgmental than it is outside, like with the straight bars.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that, a lot of people are like, oh girl, she wore that last week, or oh girl, that hair is dry, or oh girl, look at her shoes, oh girl, her pads are off. Like, we're here to celebrate and entertain you. Like, go judge somebody else.
Babe, this is art. This is, we are doing art in this moment. And the last thing we need is for you to be hypercritical of some shit that you're not paying for. I said RuPaul's Drag Race fucked up a lot of people's perception of drag because these girls are walking down the runway in these amazing outfits that we all wish we could wear, but they are taking themselves into debt for this. They are paying thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to walk down that runway on RuPaul's Drag Race. And then these people who only consume drag through Drag Race via VH1 come out to the clubs and they come out to the bars and they're expecting that same level from the girls. And it's like, hey, And you're the one mad about it, talking about, oh, she wore that outfit 2 weeks ago. You have a $1 bill in your hand.
Okay. Unless we use it in your bank account.
Hit a bitch up on Venmo if you want me to come out here in costumes every week.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to learn the lyrics to a song and make sure that you are not bubblegumming watermelon on that fucking stage? Do you understand how hard it is to either go to a designer and get them to make an outfit, or go to the fabric store and sit there on your sewing machine and spend hours
or find the fabric, period.
In a smaller city, the fabric selection is not sickening. It's not giving RuPaul's Drag Race. And it's like they don't understand it. And then there's this additional pressure put on trans performers because of, the whole thing that RuPaul said with performance enhancing drugs has still not worn off. And specifically for trans women, we are in a very uncomfortable space where there's this assumption that drag is men dressing up as women, and you are a woman, and do you still fit into drag? And like, there's just so much that goes into it. And I would love to have this conversation about trans performers.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that when it comes down to it, like when we're talking about spaces, right? One thing that I look at too is that if the opportunities are not there, you have to create those opportunities for yourself, right? And so if it's not in an LGBTQ space, so be it. That's okay. If these other spaces are allowing you to be there, why not take them up on that opportunity? You think about in Omaha, we're only limited on however many bars there are here within the LGBTQ spaces, right? So if they're all booked up, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You're going to sit at home on a Saturday night and twirl on Facebook, or are you going to go find a venue to twirl at?
Right.
You got to create those experiences.
Plenty of bar that's having a slow night that needs to push on drink sales. There's plenty of comedy club. There's plenty of brunch avenue, restaurant. There are so many avenues in which you are able to perform and express yourself through drag that so many people just don't even look into, because they feel that it has to be at the bar. It has to be in the gay strip. It has to be in the gay club. And honestly, the hypercritical like comments that you get from people that are inside of your own community, and it's not just trans performers, it's performers in general.
It's crazy to me. I like here Matthew Steele created his show at Funny Bone, and it's huge. It's super successful, and it's a ton of fun there. It's like I almost have more fun outside of LGBTQ spaces than I do within those spaces, because of them.
Yeah, and
Judgment.
Yes.
so I have a question for you, because one of the things that I know, and I get it, again, RuPaul's Drag Race, it's all about being catty, it's all about doing the thing, but that's a competition. And so
That's not real life.
right. And so I think it's just interesting that, again, that crosses over to even audience members who show up, and then they sit
Yep.
there and think they have to be catty and they have to
Yep.
say all this shit about performers. And it's just
Or
like,
new performers.
right.
Babe,
It's like,
it's not the reading challenge.
are you
Sit
up
down,
on the
be
stage?
quiet, enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Are you going to
Right.
get up here and mash your lips together for 4 minutes in an
Mhm.
uncomfortable outfit, out of fucking breath? No, you're not.
Right.
Mhm.
That's not you. You're not going to do it. So
Yeah.
shut
That
it
is
up.
something that I have noticed too. Like, whenever I start working with somebody that is a newer queen, I let them know, like, I get it that, like, nowadays, if you don't know how to do something, you can go YouTube and find it that fast. When I started drag, you couldn't do that. The way you learned
No.
stuff was by doing pageants, by going out and traveling and doing different shows. That was the way that you learned things. It was from other queens. And so now everyone just thinks that it's there within their fingertips, and it goes into that, oh, you're supposed to be catty and you're supposed to be reading people, and that's cute and that's cunty, and ooh, it's reading, yay. And it's like, no, you're being a cunt. You should shut up.
Yes, so many
Like,
people
it's
think that,
not
like,
okay.
so many people think that the pageant world is like super catty and whatnot. And
Yeah.
like,
Completely not.
excuse me. And yeah, you get the girls that are upset because, they put everything into this pageant. They worked
Mhm.
so hard for this title. Yes, you get those girls, but most of the girls backstage are like, oh, you need some pump it up, girl. Here, got
Oh,
you.
yeah. You need me to zip that? Yeah, girl, I got you. Like, you want me to sew that? I got you. Like,
Girl,
it's not
you want to hold these feathers while you put those panties on? Got you.
right.
And it's just like,
Right.
so lovely
Yeah.
and so happy. And I really haven't had too much of a negative experience with other queens because we're
Mhm.
all out there and we're all doing it. But I have seen many a young queen stroll into the dressing room thinking that we are who we are on stage when we are backstage. And that's a very big separation that I have.
Absolutely.
I
Mhm.
get out on stage butt fucking naked and I twerk and I roll my body and I serve everybody sex for a good 4.5 minutes. And then, like, I'm usually up there like naked and the music quits and I'm like, okay, bye. And then, like,
Where's my
walk back on
clothes?
stage because, it's no longer
Yeah.
that moment. It's no longer that
Yep.
fantasy. And when I'm backstage, I am either joking or I am drinking, or I am watching somebody else's performance, or I'm trying to find something to cover up with because somebody has brought some random ass friend
Mhm.
into a
Mhm.
dressing room and I am naked.
Don't get me started on that. I
Babe,
can't
I have
stand that.
titties. I have titties.
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Like, a lot of us, like, you go to the back and it's just these randoms just walking in and you're like, hey, who are you? Who are you? Back here? I don't get it. Even when there's signs posted everywhere, not if you're not in the show, not to come to the back. There'll be signs posted everywhere and nobody pays attention to it.
Babe, if you are back here, zip somebody up, clean up
Yeah.
some of this spilled powder,
Yeah.
organize some shit, put these costumes back on some hangers or something. But like, they're just sitting in the back feeling the fantasy of,
Yep.
the pedestal that queens are put on. And it's so weird.
Yeah, I had an absolutely amazing experience past week. I performed at Hamburger Mary's in Kansas City, and I did their T Nite show there. That staff was so incredible there. Like, the kitchen crew would have to come through the dressing room to get stuff, whatever. And so before they're even to the entranceway, they're like, "Is it okay if I come through?" Like, they're asking us, to make sure that we're decent, which I thought was very respectful and really kind
It's
of them. I'm
so
like,
cute, babe. You were at work.
right. Like, we're all working here, but like the fact that you respect much is so amazing to me, and it's so rare. But I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I want to come back here.
Yeah. So let me
Like, it was
ask you,
really neat.
Feleasha. So you've
Yeah.
been doing this for 20 years, right?
Mhm.
And
22, but we don't have to be technical.
okay, 22, 24. Well, but you've been doing it for a couple of decades now.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what got you into it to begin with? And then what do you hope you could change in doing some of the shows that you're doing today? What are some of the ways that you would like to change the way that things are done around performing and around drag in the Omaha and Lincoln areas?
I think as far as changing things around here, there's been a lot of changes already that I think of in my head. Like Flix now will split door money between all entertainers, so, and the Max does as well. So that's great. But I think that was a step in the right direction. I think the next step needs to happen where they have a set show pay, because we do know that they're making good amount of money off the liquor sales, and the bars are very established. So I think that if they cut back on performers and give that stability within the pay, it'll elevate the shows. But kind of goes back to what I was saying. If the opportunities are not there for me, I'll find them elsewhere. And that's what a lot of us have been doing, is finding these opportunities elsewhere where, for example, bar will contact you and be like, hey, I want to start a drag show. And it's like, fantastic. That's great. What's your budget? They're like, well, what do you mean? And it's like, well, you're going to pay us to be there. So what is your budget? And then we can kind of work through what all that would entail for you. Or tell us what you would like, and then we can tell you what the budget is. So in essence, we know walking into this environment, we're guaranteed X amount of money, and then that helps in turn put back into our craft so that we can just continue to elevate things. What originally made me start this was my mouth. So in Lincoln, one of my friends was running for, do you remember Beauty and the Beast competition? Did you ever hear about that?
You know what? I vaguely recall hearing about it.
Yeah. So it was in 2000, and one of my good friends at that time was running, Ryan. And I was like, oh, you should do this, and you should do that for this, and this. Well, bitch, if you think that you know so much, then you should just do it. Okay, I will. So then I entered in it, and I did it, and I had a lot of fun. I won. He was mad as hell, but I wasn't. And it was, it's something that's like, oh, I was hooked immediately. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's how all that went down. Then my mom was like, are you going to continue? Before I did it, my mom asked me, is this something you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to try it. If you don't want me to do it, I won't do it. And then when she see me do it, she's like, oh yeah, totally. I need to do this.
Oh my God. You're amazing. I love watching.
Yeah.
I have watching you. The other thing that I really love about you, like your birthday show, I really love the fact that you had such diversity in the entertainers that were there. Like, it was so diverse that I was like finding myself getting emotional. I was like, oh my gosh, like what a beautiful thing to invite folks on the stage that you wouldn't normally see, and to help them build their platforms and to be able to, have that moment, right? Have that spotlight and I just really thought it was beautiful. Now, I even felt like I could see myself performing in a show with you. Not that I would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like way beyond my days. Maybe
it's not. It's not at all.
It.
Right.
I just really love that. Like that's the thing that really touched me, was just that diversity of folks who were performing, and I love that it was an earlier show.
Yeah, it was a great idea. The owners of Flix are the ones who had the idea with that, and they had let me know, like, we've never done a dinner show here before, but you could try it out and see how well it works out. And I was like, okay. So
great.
Yeah, I had a great turnout. I had nothing but compliments from everybody on it. So
yeah,
I was very happy.
It was a great time. All right. So Jose, I believe, wants to know, what would everyone's dream show be like? What would be your dream show?
I can pop out this, because this is more than a small answer. So before I have a dream show, I'd have to have a dream bar, and this bar would be catered 2 performances and 2 drag, and so it would be a huge stage with a huge old curtain with a full lighting system and a sound system that the performers could actually hear on stage, that didn't just blast them out, but like everyone could feel. So that's the setup. That's where we are. It would be, let's say, an hour and 30 minutes. Every performer would be guaranteed at least $100 for getting on there and doing 2 numbers. People would be encouraged to tip as they walk in the door. And the performers would be from all different types of categories of drag, because there are so many different types of drag. I'd want to see a good diverse show, just diversity throughout the entire thing. I want to see different ethnicities. I want to see different ages. I want to see different presentations. I want to hear different genres of music. Like, for me, that's the show. That's the show where everybody gets something.
Yeah. You just described, I don't know if you know this or not, but the Benson Theater here in Omaha would be a beautiful venue to have.
That would be.
I don't know.
Well, when you're describing perfect bars, it made me think of the Q too, because the Q had that amazing sound system, amazing light system. They had the huge curtain that came down. They could lower you from the ceiling. They could make it snow on stage. They had fog. They had all kinds of stuff. It was amazing bars.
Snow and fog. Woo!
Wait, just wait till I get rich. There will be a drag bar somewhere that caters to the dolls.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Well, the new Benson Theater has this beautiful, like, backstage. You go down these stairs and there's this like huge dressing room, and like, I mean, it's basically also for plays and productions, but it's just a really beautiful stage. Now, the thing about it, well, I guess there are a couple of ways that you could actually get down and then work the crowd, because it is literally a stage with a huge curtain.
Right.
And so, it'd be a cool place, because I had thought about it when I toured. I was like, oh my God, like the first thing I thought about was having, like, there should be a drag brunch happening here at least once every 2 or 3 months. And when I did a show that I called Existence back in 2019. I was going to do it again in 2020, but we all know what happened to 2020. It disappeared in an abyss. But Existence was a show where I literally went out and found sponsors for each entertainer, and they paid $75 per entertainer that they wanted to sponsor. And I actually ended up finding a sponsor for each. And then I can't remember, Avalisa, did you do 2 numbers or 3 numbers?
I think I did 3 numbers.
And I mean, I'm glad
I know for sure I did 2, because one was a little adult for the audience.
Oh, that's right.
But I think I did a third one as well.
But I will say this. I mean, it ended up, and it was just unfortunate. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. Maybe it was because it was before its time, because big brunches hadn't been happening yet. We had Indian tacos. Those were all free. I mean, we did it up, but we had a small crowd. And so, it was unfortunate. I wish the crowd would have been bigger, but that's one of the things that I think it's like a blessing and a curse to have too many brunch shows or too many drag shows, because then you're kind of maybe, some people are like, well, gosh, I went to a brunch this past Sunday, and I can't really go and do it again this Sunday, because when I go, I'm not tipping $1.
Well, the thing that's nice, that I think has been really nice here in Omaha, at least I can say, is that there's tons of brunches now all the time. But the nice thing about it is that they're not all in one location. They're in all different parts of Omaha. Like the one I manage is in West Omaha. And the only other thing really out there at West Omaha is Matthew's show that he has at Funny Bone. So everybody has like a different clientele. Lady Edamame is more kind of in the Midtown area. Then there's Caddy's that's over in Council Bluffs. They just started another one. Have you seen the one that's at the movie theater? You guys seen that?
No, where at?
At the Alamo.
Oh, yes.
Downtown.
Yes.
Yeah. They just started that. That was last month. I went and seen it. It was a really fun experience. And that one is like Lucy Roxia, Fantasia Garcia, who else is in it? Cassandra Evans, Jackie O'Kennedy, Tia Pett, I think is their permanent cast. But it was a good time.
Awesome. See, look at you. I asked you to come on and
Yeah.
give us the tea. You're giving us the tea for all the other things.
And that's
and I heard you talking about 10 o'clock sharp, and everybody that's been there can attest. Yes, I do not start at 10:01. 10 o'clock, my intro starts. They're very well instructed. I don't care if you don't see me, you're still pressing play. If I'm not ready, that's my fault. That's not the audience's fault. That's my fault.
With the mic.
Absolutely. That's my fault. Nobody else's.
To the show. I've done it many a times.
Yeah. So definitely. Absolutely. I pride myself on that to make sure that I'm always on time at 10 o'clock. No matter what, the intro starts at 10 o'clock.
Well, that is awesome. And here is, let's see, it looks like this is our lineup for
this month.
This month, May 20th at Doss House in Lincoln, 10 p.m.
Next month,
sharp. Oh, yeah. It's
10 p.m. sharp. Yeah, it's still April. I keep thinking it's May, too.
Yep.
But yeah, we have Dren Kennedy is in the show, and they just recently won Divine Diva. So I'm trying my best to celebrate Dren as much as I can this month. We also have Dren in the brunch as well, in Omaha Drag Brunch. So that's really exciting. And then we have Anya Detention as well. They are our fresh face of the month.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Giselle and Trigga, and is it Trigga? And Cece.
Yeah.
Wait, Cece is amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So Giselle, Trigga, and Cece and myself are the permanent cast. And then we have the two special guests.
Ah, okay. So the four of you are there every month, and then you invite two special guests to come and join you every month. Okay.
Absolutely. Last month we had Nebraska AIDS Project was there. It was yeah, they came because it was National Trans HIV Testing Month or something like that, awareness. I don't remember exactly the verbiage of it. For a nap, and so she was like, "Hey, we should do this," and I was like, "That's a brilliant idea." And so that was wonderful seeing them there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just love that there's one that's specific to folks who are trans. I mean,
yeah, thank you.
I just think that is a brilliant way to continue to lift us in the community and to lift transgender, gender nonconforming, or gender diverse folks. And it's neat. I mean, we still have so much. I mean, in our own community, there's still so much to overcome when it comes to who we are as people. And
well, I think it's been, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. So what I think has been great with the brunches is that all these brunches are all ages. So I've seen a comment from Michelle Duran was about, where else can you see these shows at? There's a lot, the brunches, everybody is well aware that there could be children there. So, 90% of the time we are all making conscious decisions in our music that we are selecting, our outfits that we are wearing, at least for Omaha Drag Bunch, say, hey, we don't police you or the music you decide to do. Just be aware it's the middle of the day, right? So there is no bright spotlights and stuff like that. That there could be children present, there could be grandparents present. What is the image you want to portray in that situation? So that's something that I always play back in the back of my head as well.
Well, pull it from the radio edit and make sure that it's not explicitly about sex.
Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I gotta get this comment in there. I love my daughter, Erin. I love that. And also, like Michelle says, she has a 10-year-old non-binary kid who loves the shows. Are there any other events that would be more kid-friendly? Yes, Michelle. There is Youth Pride is coming up July 15th. So it's a few months from now, and it is a Friday night, and it is free. So be sure to put that on your calendar for anybody else who's watching who might have kiddos. And Nikki, I need to talk to you about that because I want to get Heartland Pride on to talk about what's coming up for Pride. So that's wonderful. I love that they're all ages shows. I loved that your birthday show had all ages, and so we were able to. Those and the kiddos. I love watching the kiddos because the
Their reactions
kiddos
are
are
so fun. Yeah.
I know, and they're so non-judgmental. They're just like,
Yeah.
everybody is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when that kid got on stage and twerked with me, I did not know how to feel.
I was at this brunch. I was at one of Lady Edamami's brunches, and there was a group of dance moms and dance kids, like a group of them.
Oh,
And when I tell you those kids took over the show,
Period.
I fell out. Ryan
Baby, pick up
Spears
these
was
ones, bring them over here.
Ryan Spears was doing some number, and he started doing some booty popping. All of a sudden, the kids just got up and surrounded him and started doing the same thing. I was like, "What is going on right now?"
I would
I was
have died.
I fell out. And then Matthew Steele is performing, and like poor Matthew, no one's really watching him. All these kids are out there. I was like, "What is Matthew? What's going on? Take my money."
well, see, at that Existence show that we had, it was all ages as well. That's why we had you in the day. And there were a couple of young girls that were like right up front, and they were dancing with Avalisa, and they were dancing with
Yeah.
why can't I think of her name right now? She's another performer who always does like death drops, and it was so awesome because she did her death drop, and then the little girl right after her did it too. And the whole kids was screaming. It was like,
I was like, these kids are watching.
Okay. It's the thing too when you think about it that like parents are being so open and bring their children there because that's the values that are being instilled within them. So these are the kids that are going to be the non-judgmental ones in school, and they're going to be loving. They're going to be more supporting, and it's like it's cool to see like generation after generation things becoming more acceptable, so that you know in the back of your head someday we unfortunately probably won't be here to see it, but the world will be a lot better place than what it is.
yeah. Well,
I think we're going to get closer to seeing it because looking at these young trans kids and their openness with their parents and their parents' acceptance of them and their parents' respect towards them, not at all.
Right.
Not at all when I was growing up. Like, I fully got if you do this, you're going to hell, period. No conversation about it, no nothing. And so to see these kids and they have, these GSAs and like these pride committees and like they're learning new pronouns and they're learning new names and just implementing it into their just effortless. It's just like, okay, now I see what we're working towards.
Right.
Now it's just about, some of these people getting the message that you don't need to understand to show me respect. You do not need to understand to show me decent human respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep, exactly. And that's, with all of the stuff that is going on in the world right now, and it continues to happen, there's this whole thing about not saying gay in school, or the books that they're taking out of schools because of, two men sitting and having a picnic together, and all of these different laws or all this legislation that they're trying to pass that says that parents can't be supportive of their trans kiddos because of the lack of knowledge and awareness, because everybody thinks that the kiddos are having all these surgeries, and it's like, no, they're not. But the thing that I really love, though, about the way that drag has now evolved and is now, having more all ages shows and doing that, I have a lot of younger folks in my life who have always loved drag and who have always felt somehow left out. And they would go to Pride because that was the only place where they could see drag and be around drag queens. And I mean, they're just like, you could just show up in drag if you wanted to, and everybody's going to want to take a picture of you. It doesn't even matter.
Absolutely
with you. And so I think that it's just important to just acknowledge, Feleasha, that the work that you're doing in your performing and the way that you're doing it and the work that you've done, Avalisa, I mean, it is changing hearts and minds. Thank you. Making a difference in our community. And I just, I love you, and I think a lot alike, Feleasha, because you're like, I want to have everybody over for craft nights. I've been trying to get people to come over to my house for Monday night art therapy, and nobody wants to show up. So I'm coming to your house. I bring my art, and you all can do your crafting, and I will paint. or something.
I think it'd be fun. What's like it saddens me that when it's like I'm very much an observer, right? Granted, I got a loud mouth, but I also listen a lot to people and how they interact in the dressing room. It's like I remember the days that when you've seen something, you're like, girl, I love that. Like, how did you do that? Oh, girl, it's easy. I just do da 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 da. And nowadays it's like, oh, I can do it for you. It'll cost you this much. Like, come on. Like, to me, that's not what this is all about. You know, I understand that everything has a price. I get that. But my theory in my head is that I want to give back to these entertainers and we can all learn from each other. Like, think about the amazing things that you can create if you have someone that's an expert at sewing, an expert at rhinestoning, an expert at doing hair, an expert at painting fingernails, an expert at painting clothes, whatever it is that your niche is, and you get enough people with little niches like that, the costumes and concepts that you could come up with in that group would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't hurt anything to teach somebody a new trick.
And you know, the other thing about that though is the camaraderie. Like
Exactly.
Yes.
so love about what you're
Yeah.
trying to create because
Yeah.
it is about that. And we are communal beings. We
Absolutely.
aren't necessarily meant to not be in community with one another. And so I just think it's wonderful and I love that you're doing
Thank you.
it. And I'm just excited for the first one to happen in May.
Me too. I'm scared because like everyone's like, I'm coming. I'm like, okay, see how much you can fit in this house. I'm here for it though. We have people upstairs, basement, the main floor. It's been really cool though because like people are like, well, I'll like just let me know and I'll order you guys pizza and send it to your house, or I'll buy some snacks and drop them off. I was like, yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, so it's something that like comes off huge. I may have to like contact somewhere and be like, hey, can I use your venue? You know, and do it like that so that it can be
Here's the
big.
thing. I mean, until it gets too warm, we can always do it. You can bring them over into my backyard. I have a really large
Smart.
backyard. We can put a
Oh
couple
yeah.
tables out. We can,
Yeah.
I mean, we can do the whole thing. I mean, we
Yeah,
can
that would be wonderful.
fun thing of it. And who knows, maybe we can just kind of move around to different places too.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
So yeah,
I'm here for that.
so here I love this. Michelle says, because of people like you, they have the words to explain their feelings and having the ability to be themselves. You also help parents like me understand them and support them. So that's awesome. And Nikki actually is an educator, and so she is trying to keep up with all of the kiddos. She loves them. So we do appreciate you tuning in and listening to the show. If you do have or watching the show, if you have any questions for Feleasha, myself, or Avalisa, please feel free to pop them in the comments like you have been doing. We're more than happy to answer those questions for you. Let me see. I'm trying to think of, so I'm going to ask this question because Avalisa and I have try to ask it as much as possible because we would rather focus on things that lift us up and bring us joy. So I'm going to ask you, Erin, what brings you joy? What is joyful about your life today?
What brings like outside of stage stuff or just in general?
Let's start with outside of stage and then you can tell us about on stage.
Okay. So like outside of stage, what brings me joy? My friends, like building close relationships with people bring me joy. I love the fact that people value my opinion. And that makes me happy to know that somebody values my thoughts, as crazy as they may be. You know, they still value them, which I think is fantastic. And that makes me happy. My cats bring me joy. Really just moving to Omaha, being back here in Omaha, you know, 11 years later, living by myself downtown, it's been very joyful. Putting this place together. It's like when I left Phoenix, I sold everything, you know, so I didn't have any furniture. And so I've been slowly getting stuff put together in the house. And that's what's been bringing me joy.
That's awesome.
On stage, what's been bringing me joy is there's quite a few things that are still in the works right now that we can't really, I'm not really going to go much into detail on, but like the brunches have been very joyful for me. They're very fulfilling. Every single month we've had one, they sold out. You know, we've never had a show that hasn't. So we're forming for a little 400 people every single month.
Wow.
And that's been fantastic between the two shows. Yeah, just being on stage again, really. When I was in Phoenix, after I stepped down from Miss Gay United States Icon, I made a conscious decision not to perform as much anymore. Obviously you understand that we can get wrapped up in the pageant game and run yourself into debt, right?
Yep.
I ran for a few, so I had quite a bit of debt. And I really decided to take a step back from Feleasha and focus on Erin and take care of those things before moving forward. So that's something that was a huge accomplishment of mine. And that's like, now I feel comfortable again with, like, I don't know if y'all seen, like, I'm getting ready to do pageants again, and just starting to play my cards appropriately, but also financially be responsible when doing it, not making dumb decisions and just, swipe it. Like, if I don't have cash, you don't need it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to touch on something real quick.
yeah.
This is specifically for trans people who are transitioning medically, outwardly, the expenses of transition that are also doing drag. It is extremely important to take care of yourself and not only your performer. Because
Absolutely.
for a nice while there, Miss Davenport got everything. And I had not gone shopping for myself. If I did go shopping for myself, it was for a tipping outfit. If I got new hair, it was show hair. If I did anything, if I made anything, if I was any type of creative for anything, it was being spent on Miss Davenport and not me. And I think it's important to understand, while it is your passion and while it is your art and it is your outlet, at the same time, you need to take care of yourself. So I completely understand, you stepping back and taking care of Erin, and throwing Feleasha on the back burner, because I did the exact same thing. And that's how I was when I moved to Omaha, and I wasn't like getting booking fees. I was like, if I do this like I did this when I was living in Austin, I'm not going to get anything. I'm not going to do anything for myself.
Absolutely. Be the same situation, just in a different city.
So it's important to take care of yourself. And,
Absolutely.
while it's amazing to put your everything into your art at the same time, please, especially if you are going through transition, remember to take care of yourself, because it is so easy to spend all of your money on stage. And meanwhile, here you are, haven't been on hormones like you're supposed to be, haven't been going to get laser like you're supposed to be, have not been taking care of yourself. Because you can't afford it. Because you can't afford it, because you're putting all of your money in a track.
Yep.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Is the 2 p.m. show still open at the Omaha Drag Brunch? Is there still tickets available?
Yep. So, Michelle, the one that I manage, you can get tickets at www.omahadragbrunch.com.
I just posted that up there. So we got that. So
there's, and if they use hashtag Savage at checkout, and you'll save 25%.
Okay. Hashtag Savage. So that's for the Omaha Drag Brunch. There's also this one here at the Alamo Draft House. Is that in all ages?
I believe so. Yeah, that's the newest one.
Yeah.
And then Lady Edamame has one. It's an Eventbrite that you get the tickets through. I just posted it on Facebook. If you want, you can go to my. Yeah. I just posted that because I'm in that one, and it's Star Wars theme.
Oh,
outer space theme. Yeah. So that's
okay.
I'm excited for that.
Yay! That sounds like fun.
This was a good time.
That's happening when at the Cross Strain Draft Works. Is that the place downtown?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one that last show that I went to that had the Nice Rolls food there, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Love Nice Rolls. Are they going to have Nice Rolls back for that, or is it?
I don't know. I think so, because I think that that place. I don't know, Lady Edamame. I'm not even going to comment because I don't. I wanted to act like I did. I have no idea. Maybe it's on the invite. I don't know.
All right. Well, we just posted all three. We're promoting all of the events. We're promoting things. Oh, it looks like the Storm Chasers are having a Pride night. Nikki, when is that happening? We're just
What
Jeez.
Storm Chasers? Tell me about that.
the Storm Chasers. I
All
think
right,
are
well, we just
baseball.
posted all three. We're promoting
Whoopsie.
all of the
Oh,
events.
Sorry, whoopsie.
Oh, I was like,
I
what
was
is
like, what was
happening?
that?
Eli, help.
That was me. That was me. You didn't recognize my voice? What?
Hey, well, I did. That's why I was like, this is weird. Why am I hearing an echo?
Because I accidentally clicked on the wrong link there as I was going and finding.
I was like, what is this lag? Help.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Sorry about
Storm
that.
Chaser.
Here,
Good.
he comes with sound effects.
I love it.
I know. I'll tell you, I wanted to try out for being an MC for one of the drag brunches, but then
Mhm.
I chickened out because I was like, no, you know what? There's all these great drag performers that they just, that's their space. I don't need to go and put my name in that hat.
I will
It's your
say,
space too.
getting on stage to do a number, that's
Oh.
a spot for a performer. 18 and up for Alamo Drag Brunch.
Yep.
T.
Sorry about that, but thank you for that, Michelle.
As a performer, that's a performer space. So if you want to get up there and perform, that's for you. That's your ticket. Host, different story, because a host can stand out there and not do anything all night. And that allows all of the performers to stay in the moment instead of rushing to stage and like cutting themselves short on time so that they can get back on the microphone. So I'm saying, as someone who has seen MCs that were not in the show, maybe you just gotta get that MC comfort. I found a lot of my comfort in a lot of vulgarity and expletives.
Well, I usually in the moment can do pretty good. I like to talk about, and as I'm introducing performers, I like to talk about who they are and what they've done. It's kind of like just doing an episode of Frankly Speaking, where I might read a quick bio or one or two liner tagline or something about a performer that's coming up, or maybe share a quick story about what I know about them as a performer if I know them well enough. But again, I'm just like, I just don't know. And
It's
maybe
it's that 15-minute wait that you got to be worried about. You've got the
Right.
introduction down. It's the, okay, this person is not dressed. We don't have anybody to go on in this spot. Hey, let's play a game. Bartender, let's get some shots up here. We're gonna play a twerk off. We're gonna play a guess what I'm thinking. Guess this number. We're gonna play, I'm gonna guess what color underwear you're wearing. Like, it's those things.
Well, I'll
that you
tell
gotta
you what,
worry
though. I
about.
mean, the shows that I've been to recently are pretty like on time. Like I was really
Come on,
surprised that
Continental
Omaha,
Taste.
when I went to the Omaha Drag Brunch, like
Mhm.
there was no delay. And even if the delay did happen, it was very short. People were up and doing their thing. I mean, it just, and your show, Feleasha, it just, I mean, boom, kept right on going. So,
I try to make sure that the shows are all organized as best as possible, and that with our brunch, it's a well-oiled machine. Like it is an incredible staff there. From the very first brunch that we did, it's been smooth sailing for the most part. We after every brunch, we'll meet with the staff of the venue. Well, let's talk about, hey, what worked really well this time, what didn't work well. Let's continue doing that. Let's try this. Advertising, that worked out. Okay, so let's keep doing that, but then let's add in this, or vice versa. We do that after every brunch. So that's definitely worked well as well. Because just making things get better and better and better.
yeah, that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome. And I'm totally with you when it comes to trying to shift the narrative around and helping people understand that, look, this is not Drag Race. There is not
Right.
a competition happening here at the show. It is a show.
Yeah.
It is a show.
We're here for each other. Like, let's have fun.
And these are entertainers who are,
Yeah.
pour a lot of money and time into putting these performances together. I mean, I have seen performers who have worn the same outfit in different shows that I've seen them in, and I've never had a problem with that.
Mhm.
I mean, I am just like, no, like if you have a problem with that, you obviously don't understand.
Yeah.
what it costs to actually put something like this together.
And
That
they're
was one of the main
loud about it
reasons.
too.
Yeah, and that was one of the main reasons why, like, another reason I should say that I want to have those craft nights. We go, what if someone doesn't know how to sew and they want to know how to sew? It's like, okay, well, come over. Let's start this. Let's start teaching these people these little tips and tricks and craft skills that they need for the stage, so then that way they can do this more cost effectively and not have to spend, a basic leotard people will charge $150, $200 for. Like, are you
Yeah.
flipping kidding me? Like, I get it. But I mean, I don't get it.
Girl, at the Max upstairs, Jackie Kennedy showed me how to sew a slingshot bikini in like 15
That fast.
minutes. I was
Yeah.
like, girl, this is cute. She was like, look, you take your fabric, and like told me all the measurements and everything. I
Yeah.
was like, thank you, girl. Where is this kindness everywhere else?
Yep. Absolutely.
People gatekeeping designers and like costume makers and all of this other stuff.
It's crazy to me.
Oh, the gatekeeping it's everywhere.
Mhm.
The gatekeeping, the ways, and
Just let people live. If you don't like it, turn your head.
yeah. Well, if you don't like it, you don't have to go.
Right.
Don't show up at the show. Don't put yourself in the show, especially.
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
Obviously people perform because it's something that lights them up and that they love. And I think
Yeah.
that's a wonderful thing. And I mean, I know so many wonderful, down to earth and sweet performers that I try to support as much as I can. I do whatever I can.
You absolutely do. It's been always fun seeing you at the shows.
And I love taking photos and
yeah.
And that's the other thing. I mean, if you don't have a lot of money to tip, take photos and tag these people.
Yeah.
There are so many pictures of me out here in the world where I know I look sickening, but I was in a rush to get into the next outfit, so I didn't get a picture in the outfit. Why didn't you post it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about it. I love going and doing that. And and that's kind of my niche too, right? Like I love to go, I love to take photos, I love to, support the people that I love, the performers. And so
I think you need to start doing this hosting thing. That's what I think.
I'm here for it.
Well,
At least try it.
In a nice suit.
Maybe one of these months I'll come and I'll be your MC and host for T Nite.
I'm here for that. Right now at T Nite, we're limited on the amount of hosts that we have in Nebraska. People that feel comfortable hosting, I should say. So with T Nite, I ask everybody to talk on a microphone at least once to start breaking down that fear of the microphone, and then hopefully in turn it'll allow them other opportunities down the road to maybe see if they like emceeing. If that's something they want to do, then they can start going down that path to start hosting shows. But that's something that I have them do as well.
Yeah, in Austin, when we got off stage after our number, we would be handed the mic. And then, once we caught our breath, then we would bring on the next person. And so everybody got an opportunity to talk. And in that downtime, you're still able to take tips from people who couldn't get to you. I really enjoyed it. And it made me a lot more comfortable on the mic. Because the people who really didn't do too much, they didn't have to catch their breath after the number, but it made me more comfortable talking to the crowd and being personable in that way, because when the music is on, I will give it to you, but like
when it's personal, when you're on the mic, it's personal, one-on-one.
I can teach you, I can educate you, I can have a real good conversation with you, but like that entertaining aspect of being on the microphone, I did not have that at all. And now
I think it also
a microphone, I'm like, hey,
right. I think it also helps for those that are pageant minded when it comes to like Q&A and presentation categories. For fear of that microphone, it's going to help enhance that as well.
Yeah, I don't really have a fear of the mic.
Who would have thought that?
I mean,
right. Never. Right.
No, I'm going to
that would be fun though. I think that would be fun to have you host that. See how you liked it. I'd be down for that.
I would love to. I would love to do that. There's a lot.
We'll talk offline.
We'll talk. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, first of all, I just want to tell you, I'm so happy that you're back in Omaha. Omaha is so
Thank
fortunate
you.
to have you. And I'm so
Thank you.
excited to watch you continue to do all the wonderful things that you're doing. I'm going to have to get back out there to
Thank
another Omaha Drag Brunch as well, just because I do love those shows.
Yeah. We have merch now too.
Yeah, we'll see. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
So now we have merch. We have t-shirt dresses, the nice little peplum dresses. We have crop
ooh,
tops, regular t-shirt, fitted t-shirts, all kinds of stuff on the website. And then we carry the t-shirts on location after brunch.
awesome.
After the
Okay.
show, we take everyone upstairs to the pool and sell merchandise and take pictures up there.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know there was
Yeah.
a pool up there. What are you?
Yeah. Well, see, now it's warm out, so now we go upstairs after the. So what happens is that the show will be over. We get everyone to go upstairs. We like hang out with everybody upstairs, have drinks while those are being reset for the.
That is awesome. Okay, look,
Yeah.
there is a question coming from the audience.
Wait, there's a lot of them.
All right. So, but this is an interesting question though. What's the best way to explain LGBT community to a child? You know, Erica, I would say that the best way to explain the community is that we are folks. I saw something recently because people will always say, how do you explain like gay parents to a kid? And it's like, look, there are men and women that fall in love and get married and have kids. There are two men that fall in love and get married and have kids. There are women that fall in love, and it's not that hard.
It's really easy because children are so open to understanding. It's the parents that are trying to handle it in the safest way possible that makes it confusing for children. I know, there's this big discussion about don't say gay, and they think we're trying to sexualize children. It's not about sex. So if a child says those two boys are holding hands, yes, they love each other. They love each other. Yes, they love each other. That's why they're holding hands. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's the end
it's
of
that.
it. And
yeah.
And it's that simple because children don't have the prejudices that, we grew up with in our earlier generations. They're not hearing it. So as long as you're telling them the truth in the easiest way possible, they're going to take it, and it's going to be absolutely nothing to them. Children do not hold that prejudice. That is something that is learned from society.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important as well to have the conversations younger. I mean, there's not a place I haven't gone to where a little kid will walk up and ask me whether or not I'm a boy or a girl, which is obviously separate from our sexual orientation, but it still is a question that comes up. But I appreciate that question more so than I appreciate someone who misgenders me.
Absolutely.
And then I'm consistently having to be aware of my safety if I get misgendered, and then I have to think, am I safe right now if I correct them and then they still have a question about it? I actually tonight, earlier this evening, I went somewhere and I was with two men that I don't know who were helping me with something. And I can't tell you because it's a secret. It's it'll be released soon.
I know what was happening.
Yeah. And they kept referring to me as her. Well, we'll just let her, and then she, and I was like, dude, I'm not a she. And he looks at me and I said, I am not a she or a her. And he's like, oh, dude, okay, I'm sorry. And he like looks at me again. And I was like, but these were two, I'm just going to say it, white boys, probably maybe in their late 20s, early 30s. I don't know whether or not I'm safe with these guys out, and I'm out in the country. I don't know. Right? Like, I'm imagining all of these scenarios. I'm out here by myself. I mean, I'm on the other side of the truck. Am I going to be fast enough to run around
Escape plan
and drive off? Like that's just.
They made a movie about that,
I know they did. So anyway, I mean, it's just one of those things where you just want to start having those conversations and just telling the truth and being honest, right? Michelle, as a mom, I started taking my child to things like Pride at an early age, showing them examples instead of just telling them makes a difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a great place to do it. So
Absolutely.
Erica, I would definitely get some prides on your agenda.
There's so much love at these events. And so, you know, if a child asks the question, are you a boy or a girl? I'm a girl. You look like a boy. Well, I'm a girl. Okay. Like they're still learning how to process things. They're building their wealth of knowledge. And that's that. It's as easy as that. You know, you may get a couple of whys after, but like it's not that big. They just kind of let it go and keep going.
Thank you, Mama.
Oh, we love her.
Well, I love that because I love the mamas. I love the mamas.
Oh yeah, she's been supportive of everything I've done in life. I've been very, very fortunate to have her as a mother. Cats are going crazy. Sorry.
Absolutely a blessing. Maybe one of these days we can have Mom on the show, and the two of you can talk about your journey over the years. How does that sound?
Mama, scary.
Mommy, Academy.
I don't know that she would know what to click on to get on.
No, but I'm working on something. We can do an in-person interview. I'm working on something. We can make it easy.
Yeah. She's like, what do I swear? I don't get it.
We can make it real easy. She just has to show up and sit down. We'll
make it or she could just be at my house, I guess.
Yeah.
It'll give her a reason to come to Omaha, so then she can go to the casino.
Tea.
There you go. Well, listen, we have reached the end of our hour. It is 10:06. Thank you so much for
thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. One last comment here from Erica says, my daughter loves drag. My brother always mentions to my daughter how the performer is really a boy when my daughter seems confused. So I explained to my daughter the truth. Well, and you know what? Not all performers are really boys.
Right.
And not all boy performers are really girls. I mean,
and not all performers are either. Some are non-binary.
Gender is a spectrum.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's understanding those pieces. And you know what, Erica? If you want to shoot me an email, I will put my email in here for you. If you want to shoot me an email, I would be more than happy to talk more about this with you and give you some tools and some tips on ways that you can approach that conversation with your kiddo. All right. So again, thank you so much, Erin, for joining us this evening. I hope that you'll be on the show with us again sometime soon.
Yes, I would love it.
I will try to get myself to stay up later and come to T Nite.
I mean, if you're hosting, at least you'll stay awake.
Right? Exactly, if you're hosting, you have to be there.
And yes, not all performers are gay. That's right.
and it's nice because the show is only like an hour and a half long. It's usually over by midnight, before midnight.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. So it happens when you start on time.
Exactly. Right. 10 p.m. sharp. I like that. See, because I'm always early everywhere I go.
Yeah, me too.
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to say goodnight. Erin, don't pop off just yet. I'm just going to go ahead and end the broadcast. We'll stay on here for just a minute. And thank you so much, everybody who is out on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn for tuning in this evening. We really appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.